One ecosystem, you know them. We not frightened for nobody, but we respect everybody, and we better than everybody. So we will run with anybody. No fear, no better than we. No kind, no better than we. Step on me one and say one ecosystem to the world.
And then we have the video with the minister of accounts, the minister who holding your money, the last one. No breaks.
No breaks?
Only stopping for one. Take one break now. One break.
Take one or two.
Break. Yeah, one break. Yeah, better for me. And some more time. 7. So this is more because
Okay, somebody might make a noise. Who mic is that?
Hi Eric.
Oh.
You? No.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
I was touching it here. Yeah. Right, okay.
Mute it once you're shifting.
Okay.
All right.
Like a schoolboy blue shirt.
Sit down there like a Bitcoin whale. In business. So we're going down until 7:30, until the other program finish.
yeah.
All right, guys. At ease, soldiers. At ease.
It's not 7:30, it's 8:30, Dwayne.
No. Okay.
How long is our session?
1 hour.
So we break at 8:35. Roughly.
Cliff, I ain't saying for the Christmas, right? Are you Japanese?
Yeah, man. And you reaching up there?
And I have to reach.
You know this house is always yours. You're a welcome,
Right,
brother.
Eric?
Family, all, everybody.
Eric?
One ecosystem, you know them. We not frightened for nobody, but we respect everybody, and we better than everybody. So we will run with anybody. No fear, no better than we. No kind, no better than we. Step on me one and say, one ecosystem to the world you say. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not talking. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not bag of lip chasing. Hey, hey.
Like a 10 to start to peel or something. I don't know. This was thorough.
Welcome, welcome,
Okay.
one and all.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. My name is Brother Noel Emmanuel Jack, and you're looking at the show Beyond 2021. This is season 4. It is episode number 5. And it's a wonderful time to be with you here, where we can share information concerning blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and the advancing technologies that is dominating our cyber world today. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening, the 12th. It's a nice cool weather, and we are happy and excited to be with you here this evening once again. So we welcome you to the show Beyond 2021. We're talking about the one ecosystem revealed, and also the tipping point, beyond the tipping point. Welcome one and all to this wonderful show. We have lined up for you our co-hosts, Mr. Dwayne Kiddies. We have also Donna and Chris Samuel Singh. We have Mr. Kimral Ali, who is gracing us with his presence this evening. We are in for an exciting show today, where you'll understand a little more about cryptocurrency, what is happening in the one ecosystem, and the tipping point. What is this tipping point all about? So we're here once again with you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's bring in now our co-host for this evening's program. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's awesome to be here, beyond the tipping point. And as we open this evening, have you ever thought of what it would be when there's a future with no cash? Guys, how you feel about that? No cash. You're using your phone, you're using other things to pay, no cash. They're doing a lot of that throughout the world. And if you're keeping ahead of the trend, you are aware that there is today a future with no cash. Let's share a little video with you so that you can see what I'm talking about and understand a little bit as we as a group get into a discussion, and invite you to come on board and join us.
Somewhere in the near future, physical money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these. So what's the rush to get rid of cash? And what's the cost? Let's face it, money is cumbersome for consumers and banks.
You need to mint the cash, you need to print the bills, you need to transport them in armored trucks, store it in secure vaults, and you need to sort it at the till as well.
Operating in cash costs countries about 0.5% of their GDP every year. But cost isn't the only incentive to move towards a cashless future.
Demand is rising, primarily demand from young generations who are looking for fast, easy-to-use means of payments.
Digital payments aren't just easy, they're neat.
It becomes easier for governments to monitor tax evasion and fraud, so we will have less of that going on, probably.
Yes. So in an effort to make sure that the message comes through, we are just queuing over that video because there are some important factors in there that we need you to understand. Our world is going cashless as we speak. For those world travelers amongst us who go to the globe and experience different cultures, you would interface with these various technologies that you will be seeing up on your screen very, very shortly. And of course, you can attest to what is happening globally. But for those of us who aren't so fortunate to be world travelers, let's take a look at this video that's going to show you what is happening, the emerging trends that are happening all over the globe. So we're holding on for master control.
Somewhere in the near future, physical money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these. So what's the rush to get rid of cash? And what's the cost? Let's face it, money is cumbersome for consumers and banks.
You need to mint the cash, you need to print the bills, you need to transport them in armored trucks, store it in secure vaults, and you need to sort it at the till as well.
Operating in cash costs countries about 0.5% of their GDP every year. But cost isn't the only incentive to move towards a cashless future.
Demand is rising, primarily demand from young generations who are looking for fast, easy-to-use means of payments.
Digital payments aren't just easy, they're neat.
It becomes easier for governments to monitor tax evasion and fraud, so we will have less of that going on, probably.
And that brought home a strong message. But before we go into a discussion, I want to thank Ivan and Michelle Mark, two individuals in our team here who are part of the financial world out there, strong financial people who know what's happening and what is going on in the world around us. How do you guys feel about a world without cash? Because you realize that having cash has an expensive cost attached to it. And it's not only that, young people like paying with the phone, they watch, they just go on and boom, they pay you. They like things quick, they like things efficient. So guys, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Donna. You always make us feel so welcome and so important.
Wow.
we all experience innovation. And you know what? The cash system is evolving in the sense of how we pay for things. And at first, it becomes unknown or fearful to many.
Yes.
We become fearful. However, when we understand the value, we understand how it's cost effective, how it's making it easier to do transaction. Once we have the right understanding, everything becomes clearer and it's accepted. That's just how innovation is accepted. And that's what I think. Understanding is needed.
Yes, and good night, everyone. Again, it is awesome to be here on this call. And you know, when you see that we are going cashless, of course, it has been building up to this. And it all is because of the interconnectivity of the world. And you know, this show, Money Monster, I don't know how many of you all actually saw that, where you say money has to be fast. You know, it has to travel faster.
I saw that.
Yes,
yeah.
and because our finances, our trade, the trading blocks and so forth, has now taken on a different texture, our money must also do the same. So it is, I mean, by no means that this is happening just by chance or by luck. It is actually being designed in order to capitalize on what is taking place now. So yes, it is the new evolution of money, and like it or not, or whether we are prepared or not, it is going to happen. So, you know, we hope that these shows actually bring people up to speed and help them in accepting or actually just positioning themselves, their businesses, their families, you know, their workplaces in order to really put themselves in the forefront of the technologies. So that's it. So those are my opening remarks.
Beautifully said. Michelle and Ivan, beautifully said. Cliff, I know you're itching to say something.
No. I just listened to Ivan saying, talking to people and saying, you know, he's hoping that they're prepared. I remember I was looking at the history of how transport developed through America and across America. And in the earlys, it was the horse-drawn carriage that was carrying stuff. And they realize now, in the age of industrialization, that could not help. That would not be able to meet the demands. So they had to find something faster to cross America. So that's how come they were able to get into the trains.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Now, with that, there was a lot of resistance. Now, remember that word there, resistance. So much so that there were persons who lost their lives because, for one, they could not see themselves letting go of what they were already accustomed to.
So true.
Which is the manufacturers manufacturing the carriage and the wheels and that kind of thing, you understand? So they now would be losing their jobs. Is now required a new skill to operate the trains, to build, of course, the railway tracks and all of that. Again, there was resistance to it because they were saying, listen, it's a new skill that had to be adopted. And this is something like what we have been bringing to persons through our programs to let you know that whether you're prepared for it or not mentally, it is coming. And we are just trying to prepare you to tell you, listen, it is not as difficult or as traumatic as a number of persons say. I remember Don and I going to a guy who has a grocery a couple of years ago to tell him about this same cashless situation. And the man told me, because he and I know one another very well, the owner, saying, listen, no. INC, we do not, I could do without cash, right? Besides holding it, I like to smell it. You want to smell the money. Remember, long time when you get them new notes, you want to smell the notes?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something. Anytime you get notes now, and you break it and you smell it, you know what? You just smell the past. You smelt what it had valued some time ago. So your nostrils not keeping up with the time. Your nostrils backdated if you want to keep smelling it. Why am I saying that? Right? Because what people like to call inflation, right? The value of money keeps falling all the time. So what you see printed on the money, what in your mind you think you could have bought with it, was at a time, not at this instant when you are seeing the money, because the value of money is changing. So, listen, the world is getting away from that. I will give you a little incident I had witnessed sometime during the program also when I was in China, so you could understand what it is like. But again, people need not be scared. It is happening, and all we are saying is that, listen.
But Cliff, can I ask you something before you continue along that vein? Is this then the reason why the world began to look at cryptocurrency? Why Bitcoin, the grandfather of cryptocurrency, came into being? Emerald, do you remember when cryptocurrency came into being, when Bitcoin first came?
First of all, Donna, the world didn't look at cryptocurrency. Yeah? It's just a couple of persons. It wasn't the world. The world was resistant to it.
Well, yes, I have to agree with that.
You understand?
But cryptocurrency was born because somebody saw the need.
And a couple of persons were making noise, just as we making noise right here, to be able to enlighten others. Listen, there is a need for this thing here. And they were successful in bringing it to print.
Did it say necessity is the mother of invention?
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So there's a need for money that you can't smell.
Yeah, of course. But, you don't want how long you gonna be smelling in the past.
I wanna make a point coming off from Cliff's ideas here. You know, we are saying, okay, so he wants to smell the money. And of course we have different innovations. For instance, we are having now electric cars, right? So Cliff, would you miss the smell of gas when you get your electric car?
That's a good question.
Well, that is a kind of hard question to answer because
will it be easier to transition?
When I closed down Petrotron and I was passing through Point of Pierre to get to San Fernando, I used to miss that smell. Right? But whether I want to miss the smell or not, the life is going on. And
Yeah.
all we are saying is that even whether I am prepared or not, right? Life goes on without my consent. So what am I going to then say? I am going to stick in my ways and deny my generations to come because of my stubbornness?
Yeah.
And that's what we're saying, you know.
For those of you who may not know, the grandfather of cryptocurrency, and I would like our guy Eric to bring up a slide so that you can understand that there was a need, there was a recognition that cash was becoming the
We definitely need to learn because you even spoke about the whole idea of moving from gasoline and to electric. But the thing about it is the people who really made the most out of it are those who are ahead of the curve and literally moved into the whole idea of electric before it became mainstream. What we find today is a lot of people sit back, rock back, and waiting for things to happen, and they just want to go with the tide and go with the flow, as it were. And we need people who could think ahead of the curve and who
Yep.
can see where things are going. Because I tell you, if you're waiting for the government of Trinidad and Tobago, we're real behind. Because guess what? I heard I heard, well, you know, I don't want to call him any bad name, the short man, but definitely speaking, the minister spoke. He spoke and said that by the end of 2021, Minister Colm Inbert said that we go in cashless. And then, but in the same token, they're printing new bills. So what are we seeing? We are not lining up with what we are seeing from our mouth. So we cannot definitely be listening to the government. We definitely have to take things more seriously as a people and understand things like QE, quantitative easing. We need to understand what is really happening around us. Otherwise, we will be left behind. And this is what Bitcoin has done many years ago. And now people now saying, yeah, boy, this thing, I wish. Well, I too, I wish. I wish I had known many years ago. But now we are in an age where it is mainstream and it is just here to stay. It is
Yeah.
here to stay.
I would like to
many
interject,
challenges will
Donna.
rise out of this.
Yeah, I would
Ivan
like to
talking.
I would like to interject, Donna. And
Go ahead.
again, because of Kimral's education with of course what we do, right? He could speak this way. And you know, we were looking at something in the newsprint earlier this week, was it last week, with WePay. And it always hurts me to the core to know that one of our own, who has a brilliant idea, had to go outside in order to make it and to capitalize on it and that could have been our benefit, towards our benefit.
True.
Okay, now he's bringing
True.
it back to the Caribbean. But where are the investors? Where are the institutions? Where are the banks to say this is a good idea, right? Let's raise some capital and let's get it done. Why
That's right.
are our institutions always coming way behind? And I talk about institutions, I'm talking about insurance companies as well and other financial institutions. Where is the fintech? Where is one of those companies haven't merged into a fintech organization? How come? When it is so late in the game, right? Now, some people will say it's still early, but at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago could have been the fintech hub of the Caribbean and not just the oil hub.
So beautiful, so beautiful.
Yeah,
That
so
is such a good point.
where are the progressive thought patterns of our leaders in that sense? Why are we lagging behind? That is the question. And of course, you would have certain things happening, but no education behind it. So you have things happening in the bank, but the banks themselves are not educating their customers on what is taking place. And you'll always have some dependency. And that, to me, is I don't want to say shame, but in the 21st century, it shouldn't be happening in the information age.
You remember, Ivan, Cliff brought up the guy, that same guy that we had on the slide just now with the repay. And Cliff, remember what he said with the bank, about the bank? You remember making a note about that? It was very important.
Yeah, where you were saying that, if people have equal access to banking services, you would have a better world.
That's
you understand? Equal banking services, of course, means cheaper banking services also, because we already know that we're in a climate where so many businesses are falling through and falling down. The banks still boasting about increased profits.
Yes.
So how could they have a smaller number of active account holders? Because remember, if businesses falling through, that means that they cannot contribute as much because they're no longer in operations. So it means now that the persons who you have there, you know how to squeeze more out of them to be able to keep your margin of profitability where it is. Understand what I'm saying? You have less persons actively contributing as far as financial services are concerned, because a number of people are now either unemployed or underemployed.
And
But
this
if
is
I have to
where
maintain the profit margin, it means they have to squeeze those people there. And
I don't like the word
increase service.
squeeze. They're charging us more. That is what
All
you're
right.
saying.
All right.
They're increasing the prices we have to pay for maintenance of an account.
You don't like that. No, I will tell you the term I really want to use, which you don't like.
Oh gosh, don't say that. No, change the topic.
Not on air.
Oh, okay.
No, but I would like to just remind all of us, why was cryptocurrency created? That was one of
Michelle.
the things that was supposed to be
That was
addressed,
right.
in
Yes,
that you were
level between-
addressing the ones who were unevenly yoked. Let me say it like
Yes.
that.
Very good.
Meaning, what will be good for one person may not be good for the other, so I cannot get the services that I need to continue my business. However, cryptocurrency was created to help the unbanked, to help the ones that need it.
Unbanked, that's right.
Because it levels the playing field.
That's it.
And that's what we were, well, actually, I was attracted to it because that was one of the major reasons.
Yes.
And then one of the other ones was it was cutting the cost of remittances and so forth, helping international trade. And many other reasons why cryptocurrency, and why Kimmer would have mentioned, we're sorry we didn't get the education a little bit before, but we are getting it now. And that's why we have taken it really to heart and really have made it our, how I should say, our
mantra.
Yeah, to educate the masses.
To educate the
because
masses.
here what? We do not want a replay of having only a few being accepted or being able to receive certain privileges. And anything we could do to reduce costs of business as entrepreneurs, as an individual, as a family, as a household, we always look to do this. And that's where cryptocurrency, the cashless and everything comes in. And that's what we like. That's what we like.
And I love Michelle. And Ivan, I love too, guys. Easy payment. You're using your phone. You're using quick electronic boom, boom. Something that you wouldn't have to go to the store. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to go to the business place. You make your payment from your phone. They're doing that so much in China now. If you're looking at, I like to look at Korean movies and those things and watch them. Everything is done through a payment on the phone, the watch, or some sort of electronic device that is being paid for all kind of chat, this chat, that chat, and all kind of chat, and they are using those to pay money. This is happening around the world, and we are going to get into that. We're going to go into a break because, Dwayne, you have some things to say, I'm not hearing you and Noel, or they're quiet, but tonight we had to talk. We had to let them know what's happening. And when we come back, as we take this break, when we come back, we're going to be looking at China. Let's see a bit more what is happening, because listen, man, things are happening out there that you need to be aware of.
Yes.
So stay tuned, and we're going to be back in a short as we take a break now.
Do you know? What am I speaking about? Do you know what is cryptocurrency? Do you know what is blockchain technology? Are you aware of what we currently face on a regular basis with quantitative easing, fractional reserve lending? Do you know? I am inviting you to come out of the financial darkness and into financial light. The only way for us to achieve that is with education. And one particular type of education is what I'm speaking about. I'm asking you to join the One Academy. It is a financial revolution of teaching regarding introduction to finance, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, helping you understand the world of money and what is money. What is money? Money is simple. It is what we agree upon to exchange for goods and services. If you want full comprehension, join the One Academy.
When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your
full 100.
Here we go again.
Good day all, my name is King James, part of the One Life Network Caribbean team. If you have no knowledge of what is cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, I'm inviting you to get started with this concept. It is $1,610 TT for you to participate in a financial curriculum that will help shape your world and your future, but better and greater than that. In our curriculum, there's no school that teaches our children about finance. This is a unique opportunity for you to get involved in practical and theory. You need the best of both worlds. The theory we offer allows you to participate in the practical. Position yourself strategically. Get a starter package from one of your local IMAs somewhere near to you, some cousin, friend, uncle, some loved one. Do not hold back yourself from getting started with our organization. One Life for More Life. One Academy. Join the financial revolution.
There are many of these developing countries that really will be happy to use the digital RMB if it's cheap and effective because they're cut off from dollars.
We look at the United States as the #1 exporter to the Caribbean region. However, like you said, most of those products are actually made in China. And so you could essentially eliminate this middleman.
The biggest thing that central bank digital currencies will be known for, what they'll be famous for, what they'll be remembered for, will be bringing financial inclusion to unbanked populations. The dollar is the largest in trade, no question about it. But what we can start to question is it the easiest currency for many developing countries to use and access? And the answer is no.
All right, people. So what we saw there is something that, of course, a lot of the laymen, they really don't have a clue of exactly what is going on the macro scale. And we're talking about internationally, we're talking about worldwide. But many times, if you want to figure out what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, you have to look outward in order to figure it out. And that clip that you just saw, of course, this guy wrote this book, Cashless. And really and truly, that's our topic, beyond the tipping point where we go cashless. And I mean, China, not only China, but places like, Singapore, Malaysia, all of these places has gone way ahead, as Kimron said, of the curve in order to capitalize and have some dominance in that space. The thing about it is that we are still operating on binary. We're still operating on what they call it, not binary, but linear. So we are operating still in that old system, and we have gone digital. Now, my question to you and the audience is that, do we play catch up? Is there a plan for us to leapfrog and capitalize on what's going on? Or are we stuck in this way until we have no choice? And then we have to play to the tune of the big industrialized countries. What do you say, Dwayne?
Yeah, for sure. When we look at what's happening historically with China, when we see companies such as Ant Finance and Tencent, who have 1 billion persons each in their global payment system network, and these companies boast, I think in 2020, 2021, they would have boasted about 47 or 49 billion dollars, sorry, in profits. And these are just through transactions that happen in the network on a daily basis. Normal people utilizing goods and services and using their digital platform as a medium of payment. Recently, I've been to a couple of groceries and noticing that some of the major brands already have QR codes on their products, you know, and we Trinis might overlook that, you know, and say, well, okay, that's just packaging and it doesn't really mean anything. But these companies have already positioned themselves as global leaders to be integrated into the payment system. So when persons are using their cell phone with their QR scanners on it to scan products, to purchase them using digital currencies, then we know where the future is. The future is now. But like, you know, in our neck of the woods, you know, we wait to be the last movers, right? Instead of the first movers. We know that the first movers are the ones who benefit the most when trends occur. I'm so glad to be a part of this distinguished panel because we are first movers. You know, I'm containing my excitement because, you know, I'm quoting my mentor here who used a quote to say, listen, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, travel by yourself. But if you want to go far, travel with others. And so I am sticking with you guys because I know that you guys have already positioned yourself for a bright future because of the advent of cryptocurrency. And as more and more Trinidadians understand what's happening in this emerging trend that is not going to change, it's going to just evolve. And so eventually, everyone is going to begin to speak just like we are speaking right now, because you know what? Inevitably, they will have no choice but to become educated about cryptocurrency, about blockchain technology, and so that they can be participants in the entire global commerce system.
Yes.
I love that.
I just want to say, but something of real importance was mentioned in that little clip there, in that the gentleman said he understands that the US is the biggest trade, right? It is the biggest currency for trade. However, he made it known that some of the goods, that they are leaving, the goods that are imported from the US are really made in China. And if the central bank digital currencies, because that's what it was saying about the central bank, the digital currency for China, if it is allowed, it would make it easier. It will bring inclusion, as I mentioned, about the unbanked and the people who are not, you know, privileged. However, one of the things I was really blown away when I listened to that video is that we are not aware that the US is actually leaving. Some of the companies are leaving, they're de-risking, meaning they're leaving the Caribbean. What does that tell us? Now I understand why we have difficulty with foreign exchange, because it's going, they are moving away. And you know, we just not aware. We're just not aware. And I like the fact that Ivan said, sometimes we need to look out to understand what's happening in. And that's just how it is. And that's inside the country.
I love that point, Michelle, because when I looked at that video myself and I saw what was happening, I said, but wait, What is going on then? There seems to be an exchange. One is moving out and one is moving in. Think about it. Can we bring that video, Eric, the video with the end of that video so that people can see what is happening in the Caribbean?
When you see China building up all of these developing countries around the world, Africa, throughout Africa, the continent of Africa, and then the Caribbean region, this starts to become a very valuable sum of countries when you start adding them up together.
Cyrus, that's really a wonderful comment. And look, I don't mean to say, and I think it's important to get out, there's no disaster. When an American bank looks at its business in the Caribbean, it's a rounding error for them. More expensive for them to keep the office open than based on what they make. I get that. The Caribbean is affectionately called America's backyard. To me, it's what I call a canary in the coal mine. The proverbial canary was in the coal mine to be a warning for CO2 exposure for miners. It was a real thing. The Caribbean is a canary in the coal mine. It may be a story that you haven't followed. It may seem a little bit out there. But it matters, because in 3 or 4 years, when people say, oh, we're really surprised that the digital RMB is taking off in whatever country, don't be surprised. Look at the Caribbean. Look at countries that have been taken out of the American banking system because of de-risking. Look at them today, because they're the canary in the coal mine. They're telling us what's going to happen sometime in the future. So there's no need to be surprised. This is a microcosm for what's happening throughout developing countries, and most of these developing countries are BRI countries, and most of them will use digital RMB very happily. Add them all up, and you're going to get a big number.
Well, Richard, we're going to end on this one point that you just made there. As the United States is saying, look, it costs us more money to physically put a bank there, to staff it, to cover our expenses. That's exactly why the digital renminbi is created, because that eliminates all of that, right? And that is what is so important about this. And like you said, this is really maybe it's a story that we're kind of covering a few years too early. But, I think this is going to say, we can look back on this in a few years when the Caribbean has this digital renminbi, when there's more payments going through, when there's more trade going through. And I think this is great for China, obviously, pioneering this technology. But it goes down to when you're building these relationships on the Belt and Road Initiative, and you're launching a digital currency, you're helping. Digital currencies at the end of the day are helping people that are underbanked, and they're helping them have a better life. And that's what's really important here. Any other comments, Richard, you want to end on?
Oh, I have a great idea for us, Cyrus. Here's what we should do. In a couple of years' time, when we both read that newspaper article that says, I'm so surprised to see this Caribbean nation using the digital RMB. What a shocker. That's America's backyard. We should pull out this video and do a video rehash where we, take snippets of this video with the new one at that time.
Sounds good. Let's do it in a one years. Maybe
we'll do that one in however long it takes, right?
That sounds good.
There's a lot to follow here. But if people are asking that fundamental question, why will anyone use the digital RMB? The answers are there if you look a little bit. And you really have to go look at these developing countries, because they need help, and they need a cheap and efficient way to transact business. And the dollar for them is no longer cheap and efficient.
Fantastic.
That's the reality.
Richard, I want to thank you so much. Again, you were one of the experts on China's central bank digital currency. For everybody, I want to thank you for watching our episode today.
Can you take it?
Yes, folks. So to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And this is what this show is about, right? Beyond 2021 is bringing it real to you, bringing the insights that are happening globally and showing you guys what is taking place in the world today. The digital RMB, cryptocurrency. Are we going to be utilizing that in Trinidad and Tobago? You bet your bottom dollar. When we understand, just today I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and I was, we're talking about the fact that our governments are indebted to foreign governments, namely China. And we already see moves being made to acquire assets here in Trinidad and Tobago, namely one being the Port Authority of Port of Spain, right? Our main importation hub, right? one of the strategic ports in the Caribbean that rakes in billions and billions of dollars each year because of goods in transit, both here and regionally, right? Because remember, we're strategic. We're on the point of Central America, strategically placed. So when our former Prime Minister, Mr. Patrick Manning, said that Trinidad and Tobago should be the financial center of the Caribbean, he knew what he was seeing, what he was envisioning. However, a lot of people did not have that vision. And today, in retrospect, I think that Trinidad and Tobago has been done a disservice when coming to that 2020 vision, because we should have been far advanced than where we are today. We may not have had to worry about rising flour prices and all these commodity increases, because the vision would have taken care of that. We would have been ahead of the curve. We would have been the go-to player in the Caribbean. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Mr. Ali. I see you looking very pensive.
I love that. Timrod, bring it on.
I mean, Mr. Kadies, when you think of what we are seeing around us, the mixed signals that the government is sending our way, it will cause a lot of people to just feel as though they have a lot of time. So when people see that we still using paper dollars, we just moved away from the cotton to these new lovely smelling bills, right, Cliff? And it gives people a subliminal message that, hey, these dollars are here for a long time, but they are not. Digital currency, cryptocurrency is being used every day right here in Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, there are many that are unable to get foreign exchange, as was just mentioned by Michelle, that they have to turn to cryptocurrency to get the money out there, because outside you're not, well, right here, we're not getting the US, we're not getting what is required. So they are moving, they are being forced in that direction. But apart from that, even within our own ecosystem, we know that, and I know for myself, I have used cryptocurrency within our own ecosystem and purchased goods and services. And it was quick and easy using the cell phone. And it was, all you needed was internet, and it was happening. And it is happening. We just are not aware.
Yeah, Kimmel, I just want to add to that. You mentioned you use the cryptocurrency, and that's the whole thing what Ivan was saying about the de-risking. When you have companies like the banks away, de-risking, meaning because of anti-money laundering and KYC and bad people that they deem drug lords and whoever. That's why they are using all of these reasons for that. But here you are saying we have anti-money laundering guidelines in that we have KYC in our ecosystem. So it makes transaction easier. When that gentleman just now on the video said that he would like to play back that video in a couple years' time and so forth, I know we can all go back to a couple of videos back in 2016, 2017, when we were saying certain things about cryptocurrency. I was amazed. In Chaguanas a couple of days ago, I saw the electric station for charging of electric cars near Brentwood gas station in Chaguanas. I remember doing presentation and saying, about innovation and about electric car. It's here, and yet none of us really understood. Let me ask all the mechanics out there who are here in the program. Which one of you went and studied electric vehicles? Because soon it will have no need for combustion or for the fuel, or because eventually there'll be more of those appearing. And then something he said, what you said about we should be the financial hub, Trinidad should be the financial hub of the Caribbean. Yet that was the goal of Mrs. Mia Mockley a couple years ago when she won the election, and she put her things in place. In fact, the first Bitcoin machine I ever saw was in Barbados. I went, I actually used it and everything. But yet we are lagging. And you know what? We are saying, don't be laggers. You're getting the information. You should be thanking the program Beyond 2021, thanking the One Ecosystem, because we are giving you the information to position yourselves now and get back to us and get yourself and your family there.
You know, I would like to ask Noel something, because I know that he traveled and he went to a particular country and they weren't accepting the US dollars. I don't know if he could actually, bring us up to speed on that and exactly what happened, if he's around. All right, his camera seemed to have fell off.
While Noel was trying to come on, I know I had that.
Yes, are you all hearing me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We are.
We lost him.
Lost him again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Noel, you're going and coming.
So while Noel is trying to get his thing together, while Noel is trying to get himself together, I certainly want to relate to what Michelle was saying about the AML, the anti-money laundering and KYC. But on top of that, and that is where cryptocurrency comes into play, we want to deal with fraudulent activities and counterfeit money. And look at that, we had new dollars on the market, and within a month, these experts come out there with counterfeit new dollars.
That's right.
So what was really going on? It really didn't serve the purpose of coming out here with these new dollars.
The same day it was in, the counterfeit man was ahead of the game. Yes, the same day it came in, counterfeit man was ahead of the game.
Believe it landed the same time.
That's right, like both machines came in same time.
If I were the commissioner of police at the time, I would have gone and checked who do the printing. Because whoever printed them dollars give somebody some information as to be able to print duplicate notes, because it was so exact. You understand? And
a photocopy finish.
I mean, like the notes didn't get into circulation before they started the print, No, there wasn't in circulation yet. The thing coming and the thing fusing one time. Right? And then you want to come and buy cryptocurrency and say, boy, you gotta be careful, because they could hack into that system. So where you feel doing, where you feel counterfeiting is hacking in at a manual level. That is what it is, it's the same thing.
Same old,
and
SOS.
It's much easier, as you can see.
Well, let's bring it current, Cliff and Donna, right? So today we saw an article where some prominent persons in the United States, right? Prominent persons in the United States, a lawsuit was brought against them for promoting a cryptocurrency that basically essentially defrauded a lot of people. We are here. We've been here. We've been on the air for a year now. We've started a new year of broadcasting. And we have been consistently bringing the facts to our nation and to the globe, because we have a listenership across the globe. And people still, because probably, we don't have enough followers or we don't have enough fans to influence with what we're doing. But of course, we see the value of it. Kimral sees the value of it. Ivan and Michelle sees the value of it. Cliff and Donna saw the value. Brother Noel saw the value. And numerous of other persons who would have passed through our program have seen the value of this one cryptocurrency and this one ecosystem. We understand that progress doesn't happen by chance. Just how all these economic factors are culminating towards this economic crisis, we know that it is planned. In some instances, we can give you factual information, and in some instances, the chips just have to fall where they may, because you may see or you may think that a lot of these things that are happening now are coincidence, but it's far from that. It's planned and it's being expertly executed. However, what we want you to understand is that just how those plans are being executed, you have to have a plan. You, the individual, have to have a plan. Kimral said it. We cannot depend on our governments who constantly send us mixed signals about, the health of the economy and what we should be doing and what we should not be doing, and also the central banks. These guys want to continue to have a monopoly on money. And we know that the people who rule money rule the world. We have an opportunity now to own our own money, to control our money through peer-to-peer technology. So folks, give us a hearing. You see us every week. We're live and alive. We're bringing the truth to you. We're straight up, right? Beyond 2021.
I want to probably pass on a little advice to the persons who still have a challenge in accepting the fact that they don't understand how cash could be outdated eventually. Well, I will tell you the same thing I told a person who told me that. Cash in the future will be very much like a wristwatch. Your wristwatch is just a status symbol. You know why? Because everything your watch could do, your phone doing it. Right? I have run in the savannah. Sometimes when I used to do, like if I'm doing sprints, I would carry a stopwatch with me. I see people running and they run with their phone. You know how many people run with their phones? Because they stopwatch on the phone. You're setting off your alarm. You're using your phone. Why do you really need a watch again? It is just an ornament, and your cash going to become just like an ornament. It's just for you to tell people or remind yourself, that is what we used to use at one time. That is what the cash will be like, just like a wristwatch. 2 years from now, we could play back what I said, so you could say that I remind you that don't go and invest heavily in buying any wristwatch, right?
Unless it's one that is keeping up with the times. So they have some of those watches not keeping up with the times. Remember, I used my coins and I bought one from Michelle and Ivan Mark a while back. Michelle, you remember that? Yes, my digital watch. Listen, guys. Brother Noel, you think you could say something before you go? I know you're getting some problems with your Wi-Fi.
Yes. Are you all hearing me now? Are you all hearing me now?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. So some technical problems here, but going back to what Mr. Ali said, and I think it was Cliff that talked about the new money and how people like to smell the money. When it is new, they're excited, newly minted. Apart from that euphoric feeling, to think that, they have money, really and truly, what might happen now? They might catch the virus. They might catch COVID. They may end up in the hospital. Possibly, they may die. That is what is the reality now. So we see not just the saving of value, appreciation of value with the cryptocurrency, as in contrast to the deflation, the depreciation of your dollar when it comes to the fiat currency system. We have what is called appreciation of value. We have safety, we have speed, we have transparency. We even have, you don't have to touch the money in order to do your transaction. You deal with your phone. So you evade that issue of viral infection. Now, another point I wanted to make, Ivan asked about the dollar, the US dollar. We know it is falling all over the world, and many countries are not using the US dollar. I mean, in our hemisphere, we are dependent upon it to a large extent. But I want you all to know, all the viewing audience here, when a company has taken an initiative, they're developing some product or some service. If that company wants to be around for a long period of time, it wants to be sustained, there's usually a research and development arm. So you don't get the brand new iPhone all at once. They reveal and unveil certain aspects of the technology. What I'm saying to us is that we're talking about digital currencies now, we're talking about cryptocurrency now, but As Dwayne said, this thing is planned. Years ago, going back to the days of Henry Kissinger in the 1960s, they planned for digitalizing the world. So all these major corporations and companies like Alphabet and Facebook, we hear talk now of the metaverse. Everything is going beyond. Everything is going into this virtual reality, this virtual space. And the issue is that these people have been working on these things years ago, 2009, 2013, 14, 15, 16. All these major corporations that are now billion-dollar businesses operating. We are now being invited, excuse me, we are now being invited, we are now being privy to it. Those who acquired the knowledge early in the game, we are the winners. We are the winners. If you acquire the knowledge early in the game, we are the winners. So this whole cryptocurrency, digital technology, this advancement that you hear, the tipping point on beyond 2021, is nothing that happens by chance. It is planned, and you better position yourself now. Yes. You better take what we are saying to you very seriously, because you'll wake up a morning with the banks issuing cryptocurrency. You're going to have to take out that dying cash, wherever you have it, and you will have to pay to get the currencies. You'll notice with that document on China, you notice what the guy said, what he referred to was central bank currency, digital currencies, central bank. That is, listen, that is where it is going, people. Regulatory frameworks are being adopted in the European Union right now. And while we may think that there's a hesitancy, that there's a liturgy towards adopting cryptocurrency in particular, behind the scenes, there are some movements taking place. I want to suggest to us, while cryptocurrency appears to be a disruptive technology, to the masses, really and truly behind the scene, this thing is planned, and the same banks that run the fiat system, those same banks are going to take this thing over. The question is, do you have any? Do you have any crypto? Do you have any crypto assets? What are you doing with your money? What are you doing with this brain that God gave you? Are you studying digital currencies? Are you studying cryptocurrencies? Are you studying the trend? I want to humbly suggest to you people viewing this program to take it very seriously. Get on board with the One ecosystem, get on board with the Deal Shaker, acquire the educational packages, and start to get involved in this project. It's a wonderful project. It's a win-win project. You will be successful in it. Thank you.
Well said.
Just one correction to Brother Noel. When you talk about the virus being spread on the cash, I don't think that we would have such a problem, because the government could introduce a booster shot for that new virus that's coming there, right? But
let's wait and see.
As we bring up, you know, we had two persons coming on to this evening making some very strong points, Lisa Green and Leah Fink. And the thing about it is, they did say education, empower yourself. They say educate yourself and empower yourself. Amen. We are here presenting education to you, telling you what is happening in the world out there. Come on, people, position yourself.
Yep.
Position yourself. Ivan and Mish, before we go, give us a whisper, give us a word of wisdom.
Well, I want to say to the viewing audience that you are getting an opportunity for a new construction of a gated community or some kind of thing. I remember when my manager told me a couple of years ago, if someone told you, would you buy a piece of land around Twin City Mall? It didn't have a mall yet. However, when the mall was built there, then the ecosystem all around it came, and so forth and so forth. What we are saying is the knowledge with the cryptocurrency is what we are giving you first. And we are building the ecosystem around it. And that's you heard Noel speak about the Deal Shaker. Well, that's our mall. We are building, we have the academy. We have the trading platforms. We have so much in our one ecosystem. Hear what we are saying. Come into our digital reality and have some physical benefits too.
Yes.
All right. Love it, love it.
And you know, with that, Michelle, we had someone from last week's show called Sarah. I just happened to speak with him, and he was saying 2 years ago, he actually came to a presentation and he didn't get involved. Then he came back again and he didn't get involved. And then he said he's so sorry that he didn't do that. So now he is saying by the hook or by the crook, he is getting involved, getting the education, because he realized that back then he would have been a lot more, I think he would have had a lot more to gain if he had done it back then than now. Yeah. So he's not missing it.
Yes.
And I want to tell the viewing audience, you have a responsibility to yourself and your family, right? To get on board, to get the education, and to position yourself. You have that responsibility. Thank you so much.
So guys, we look out for everybody here next week. Same time, same place.
See ya.
Come with a friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Take care.
Last night, everyone.
One ecosystem, you know them. We not frightened of nobody, but we respect everybody, and we better than everybody. So we will run with anybody. No fear, no better than we. No kind, no better than we. Step on me one and say, one ecosystem to the world, you say. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not talking. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something, uno do something, do something. I'm not bag of lip chasing. Aye.